Hello everyone, welcome to the Clarity 16.1.3 Feature Supportability Training. My name is Bill Yee. And today we're going to discuss the new enhancements around workforce modeling in our plans area. So what's new in the area of plans is that now we allow the ability to create a plan structure based on an investment OBS. So you'll be able to select a top-level OBS unit and how the depth of your plan structure, and the system will generate that plan based on the names of your OBS units. We've also added ability to sync investment and staff records that are associated to that investment OBS. And what we'll do, we'll import those actuals into your plan structure. The one thing to note, the actuals are based on either allocations or assignments that you have within those investments. And last but not least, in our plan administration, we allow you to control in those investment and staff attributes that you have synced within your plan. So those can be expensive operations when you're importing that data into your plans. So you're able to just to control only those attributes that you want inside your plans. So we went out to our customer base to get some feedback on prior releases of our plans feature. And what we've heard is that investment-driven plans was a key requirement in the use and acceptance of plans. And that in terms of modeling plans, customers use OBS to model their organization, and to be able to create plans, from what they have in their OBS would be very beneficial in terms of getting up and going in terms of use of plans. So let me discuss the new enhancement we have for generating a plan structure by investment OBS. So these next two slides cover the create flow on how to generate a plan structure by OBS. So first we need to collect the proper information for fiscal period, OBS, and investment type. So the flow goes is that right now we have a button called New Plan from OBS on the plan grid, and when you click it, you'll get a modal to select the OBS and then the fiscal period you're planning for. In the next step, as part of the modal, you'll select the OBS unit for the top level. So it defaults on selecting the top level, but you don't necessarily have to pick the top level. You can pick a level in the middle or at the bottom as you like. And then from that, then you'll be able to select what will be the lowest level of depth that you have that you configured within your OBS. So based on the OBS unit and the OBS level selected, it will then create plans based on the OBS unit names. And then what it will also do is set the parent field to create the plan hierarchy. So that's why we're collecting this information. And the last step of the information collection is that you select the investments types that you want included as part of your plans. Now note, as part of that, you only get be able to select the investment types that are associated with that OBS. No other non-investment types will not be displayed during the process. So once we have the fiscal period and OBS information, we will go ahead and create the plan hierarchy and import the investment staff records. So the first thing we do is to create the plan hierarchy. And what it will do, it will traverse the OBS structure to create plans based on the OBS unit names. And then it will set the parent field that will build the plan hierarchy when you're building your plans. This operation is synchronous, so depending on how large your OBS unit structure, it may take a while, and you have to wait until this portion of the step is completed. And during this time, the plan hierarchy will be read-only, not only for this step, but this following step, and when it imports the investment and staff records to each of the plans. So what happens is that it will kick off a job called Synchronize Plan from OBS, and this job will, one, it will import those investment types that you selected in the create modal, and then it will, for those investments that match the OBS unit and the plan name, it will import into the plan. And also too, for those imported investments, we'll also import the corresponding staff records to the plan. And at this time, during this time, the plan hierarchy will be editable once the job completes. So here's a screenshot of our plan grid, and let me cover some of the new changes that we did for this release. So here's the new plan from OBS button to kick off the create plan from OBS. For now, also too, for the plan type, we have two types of plan types. One is resource that we know already, where you click the plus button to create a plan inline. But also two, we have one for investment OBS if you created a plan via new plan via OBS here. And as I mentioned before, if you created a plan via investment OBS, it will create the plan based on the OBS unit name, and the name, fiscal period, and the also to the parent will be read only once that plan is created via investment OBS. So the next four slides will cover screenshots of the create plan modal. So the first step in the when you click create plan from OBS, you're able to select the plan period name and the OBS. So the next step is to select the OBS information to create your plan structure. So what it does, it reads the OBS units from your OBS to display within the modal. And by here, they want you to select the top level for your plan structure. So you can click the top level based on your OBS, or you can click a lower level in your OBS unit name to be the start top level of your plan structure. After you pick your top level from your OBS, you also too, you get to pick the depth of your plan structure from your OBS unit. So it'll read what you have, the levels from your OBS definition, and it displays it in the modal. You can pick the lowest level, so you want the entire level of the hierarchy, or you can just pick the first level if you wish. And also too, you have the option to include all the investments from the descendant lowest level if you wish. So you have that capability in terms of creating your plan structure. So your next step and final step is selecting your investment types. So what it'll do, it looks at your OBS, your associated objects, and display those investment types. Now note, it only shows investments, so items like hierarchy and roadmap will not display because they're not investments. So it allows you to control what investment types you want imported inside your plans. So once you select this step, you click create, and then it will go ahead and create your OBS structure and import your investment and staff records. And after your plan structure is created, you'll see that it'll create all your plan names based on the OBS unit name, set the fiscal year period plan, set the plan type to investment OBS, and then also to set the parent field so it actually models your OBS hierarchy, and that hierarchy will use as part of your plan hierarchy. So when we generate a plan via OBS, we not only create the plan structure, but we also too we import the investment and staff records for each of the appropriate plans. We call this a sync. And what we do is take the latest and greatest at that time, or a snapshot, and bring those investments information and staff records into the plan. So in the upcoming section, we're going to discuss a little more detail on what's involved as part of the sync. So let's go into more detail regarding the sync investment and staff with the plan. So let's discuss the sync investment and staff for plans, but understanding the persona who would be using plans. And for that persona will be the planner. The planner persona has different requirements than, say, an investment manager. The planner is usually preparing for an upcoming fiscal year, so he or she is focused on getting a plan commitment and approval. So they need a plan commitment so they get ready for be ready for the upcoming fiscal year. So say for example, let's take this example where we're going to be planning for the upcoming year for 2024, but the planning starts in 2023, let's say at June 10th. And that's where the plan creation started. And when you create the plan, at that time, when you create the plan, we have a point in time snapshot of the investment and staff. So both of them are in sync during this time. But as time goes on, there are changes on on the investment side. There are new investments that get associated to that OBS. So at that time, the investments are have certain information that the plans do not. So at this time, things are not in sync. But as a planner, they're getting ready for the upcoming fiscal year. So that may be right now here, let's say for September 1st, and right before then, they will go ahead and then sync those investments into the plan. But note for a planner, once they they reach, let's say, September 1st, they're done with that particular plan. So afterwards, they're not worried about any incremental updating to that plan they just created for the 2024 plan. Once we're past that, they're looking at the next fiscal year, 2025, and planning for that. While the investment manager is still working, they may have a start or end date. Any changes that happen after that fiscal period will be done planning for the next fiscal year plan, which is 2025. So just understand the personas between a planner versus investment manager. So let's go over some screenshots on where you invoke a sync and how it is performed within the plans. So the sync can only be executed at the top level, and the button will only be visible to click at the top level. And once you invoke the sync, it will actually do the importing of the investments and the staff records for the whole entire plan hierarchy. But this can only be done at the top level of the plan hierarchy, and that's where it can be executed. So once you click the sync button, you have to reconfirm the investment types you want to sync. Now this is a screen similar to when you did the create plan from OBS, and we'll actually pre-select those same options that you did from create or from your last sync, but you'll just confirm it. Now before the sync is performed, what it'll do, it'll delete the existing staff and investment records and re-import them into the plan. But one thing to note is that it does preserve the add and remove values that you had assigned to all your breakout tables within your plan. But one thing to note, any changes to the OBS structure will now be reflected within the sync. In order to get those new changes, you'll need to delete your plans and recreate them. And we're working in a later release to have ability to import those delta changes into your plan. So once you click sync, you'll see a banner here that the sync is in progress, and while the sync is in progress, the plan hierarchy is read-only. Now remember, it's actually doing a sync throughout your whole plan hierarchy, and this is actually running a job in the background. So you're able to navigate away and go do other things within Clarity, but then you can come back to see what the progress is within your plans. So once the plan is completed, you can see where for each different plan in your plan hierarchy, and then you click on the investment tab to see those investments that are actually imported to each plan in the plan hierarchy. And it's not just your investments that you can see that were imported, but also to you see your staff. And you can click on all the different levels within your plan hierarchy, and then click on the staff tab to see those staff records that were imported. Now it only does labor, and labor including teams that are imported into the into your plan records. So let me cover some things you need to know, and some of this is a little bit of recap, is that the plan sync will do the following. It will import those investment types that you selected where the OBS matches the plan name and import those investments and corresponding staff records into the plan. The plan sync can only be done run at the top level, and it'll sync all the plans in the plan hierarchy. And when this plan sync is in progress, the plan hierarchy is read-only, but you're able to navigate. Since it's run asynchronous, you can navigate to other areas within Clarity and come back and check the progress. It runs the synchronized plan OBS job for the plan hierarchy. One thing to note, you can't run this job manually within Classic, but you can view the job status to see where things are, what's going on. And then also, too, if there are any errors, you can check the job status in Classic. But if there's a failure, you're required to rerun it because your information will be out of sync. Because what we do, we delete the old structure and re-import the new structure. So you need to have a successful sync in order to use the plan. And when you configure a new table for the hierarchy, say you go in, either the resource or investment breakdown tables, you need to run a plan sync in order to populate the data for those tables. So let's cover more detail of the unit of measure support for investment plans. So we enhanced our what we've done under configure. So if you click configure, we have a couple new options here related to unit of measure. So you can use that in terms of what you want to plan in terms of actuals. Now, actuals in terms of plan is either allocations or assignments, or total usage that you bring over. You're able to select the unit of measure of what you want to plan within your plan. So it could be FTE, hours, or days. And also to the decimal precision, also to from 0, 1 decimal place to 2 in terms of the configuration of the unit of measure. Now let's discuss the administration changes related to configuration controls for investment and staff attributes. So under administration, there's a new tile called plans. And in order to view this tile and get access to the plan administration, you'll need the global right for administration plans navigate. Once you're in you drill down into the tile, you'll see two modules, one for investment and one for staff attributes. So here you're able to select those attributes you want to be imported into your plans. So here you go into the investment, and there's a column called include where you check to see what attributes you want included as part of your plans. There's also a star field where you can star certain fields that you want to track within your attribute administration. And these are the only two fields that are editable within your investment attribute module. So here's a screenshot of the staff module similar to the investment attributes module. You have the include column to select those attributes you want included as part of your plan, and also you have the ability to star attributes for tracking and easier filtering capabilities in your plan administration grids. So let's give a demonstration of the generate plan from ByOBS, sync investment staff with plan, unit of measure supports for investment plans, and the administration configuration controls for investment and staff attributes. So you can see them in action. So let's give a demonstration of our new plan enhancements for 16.1.3. So we've created a new button called New Plan from OBS, and when you click it, you'll get a modal, a create modal. So from here, you select the plan period you're going to be doing your work for, which is now here. We're here for this example, 2023, and here you're able to select the OBS. So what it does, looks through your OBS, you have already defined your definitions, and then for this one, we're going to choose organizational. And it goes to the next step for plan structure. So by default, it takes the top level plan from your OBS, but you can choose any child level plan that you want in terms of what will be the top level node for your plan hierarchy. And then also too, how deep you want to actually go in terms of bringing in from the levels from your OBS. So we want to get it down to the lowest level, and also to include all the investments on the descendant level that you want. You may want to just do a top level, from the OBS and from the top level one, but include all the investments up there. So it's up to you. You have a lot of flexibility on how you want to model your plan hierarchy structure. So let's choose the top level plan and the lowest level. When we go next, it goes to the investment types. So you have your choice of what investment types you want to pick. Now, these are based on what the associated objects you have defined on your OBS. And it only brings over the ones that are actually investments. So for this example, we're just going to have projects and ideas. So from there, when I do a create, it will go ahead and create that plan structure and having it. Now, depending if you have a large OBS structure and you're trying to create a plan, this could take some time because this is actually a synchronous operation. And you notice here with the plan type, a previous one I had a resource plan type, and this one is actually an investment OBS since I created it via the investment OBS, and it uses the OBS unit names to create the plans. So let's drill into this further. So let's go to the top level plan, and the reason why I know there's no parent for this particular item. We can drill inside it, and you can see those items. So behind the scenes, it runs the syncs, which we'll cover shortly, and you get to see also too the investments and the staff records, new module tabs for the plan. So first, let's go into configure. There's some new changes there. So we still have the previous plan amount and actual amounts. As we mentioned in previous recordings, that the previous plan amounts, you will use that if you're having a challenge in terms of getting the real actuals. Either there was some merger or acquisition that you had, or there was a reduction in force, and getting that information from within Clarity was challenged. So you may just select this item. We can enter the value manually. Since we're actually taking data from Clarity, we're going to actually go and hide that field. Since when we will not need that, we're going to use the previous plan amounts. Now also too, we also added these three new fields for the how we use the actuals. And actuals here are allocations or assignments. You can choose that. Let's keep it for allocations. You can choose FTE hours or days. We'll keep it FTEs. And for now, let's give it at least one decimal point because this is FTE. So then also too. As before, you're able to update the tables. So you can go ahead and add a new table. And then let's choose goal. And we're not going to use plan investment category for now. So let's go delete it. And when you click save, it updates the values. You have the decimal points. Now notice too is that, as we mentioned during our slide presentation, is that whenever you add a new table, now this one is goal, you would then have to kick off a new sync. So let's go ahead and re-click a new sync. So for example, let's go into sync. And what it will do also too, it preserves those selections that you had during the create, or it's also too when you last did your last sync. So it preserves those selections. And when it does a sync, it actually removes all the investments that you had related to your plan hierarchy, and then creates a new one. And one thing to note is that any changes to your OBS structure, it doesn't, handle that as part of this particular sync. This is something we're looking at a later release. So when we run the sync, it actually runs a job in the background. Now you can navigate away and come back, and see where things are coming. So if we come back in here with the all groups, it actually came and completed, and it updates some of those records into the goal and properly populated those tables within your plan hierarchy. Also notice if you kind of expand things out, you notice that the business technology has most of the records coming in there. So if you went in there, business technology, you see those investments underneath that were actually imported, and also to the staff records related to business technology. Now note, when we did the sync, it's a snapshot at that particular point in time. So for example, if I went and changed some of the investments that are associated with this, it will not update these totals until a sync. So let's do an example here. Let's go into projects. And say, for example, we go into e-commerce portal. And here, since we're on the task record, let's add some additional business analysts to help with the completion of the project plan. So let's go in here and assign resources, and let's search for business analyst. And I have assignment pool to resources, so it actually goes ahead. We can assign these business analysts to the project, and it actually also assigns them to the staff. So we actually had them were added as staff members and added to task or work for this particular project. But if we go back to the plan here, go back to all group, nothing has been updated here until I run a sync. So if I run a sync here, go ahead, run the sync, and of course it runs it in background, and having that, look at the business analyst right now is 2.8, and give it a little time because it actually goes ahead and delete the entries from the tables and re-imports these as they're running through. So go ahead, you see the business analysts have been updated with those additional records that I've added within that was part of the sync. And you come inside here. That's actually first, but you have to go to business technology because that's where actually the e-commerce portal was associated with. And you can see all the different staff records. And also too, if you come by role and the business analysts, you see those additional business analysts that were actually assigned to the e-commerce portal items in here. So also too, with this, we you can control what you sync into your investments to optimize. So this is the list of attributes we provide out of the box. But you can control of those attributes what you want to sync, or you may need additional information that you want to sync within your plan hierarchy. And to do that, if we go to administration, and there's a new tile, there's a plan administration tile, and there's a specific right to hide or show it for particular users. If you look, you can see you have both investment and staff. So you can control the level of attributes on either both the investment tab and also to the staff tab. You can see there's 12 here already for the investment, and then we have the same here. Sorry, but it looked a little quick there. Same here for the staff records. So, and how you add them or remove them is via this include toggle. And for this example, let's choose all the baseline fields that we have here inside the staff records. Just add a group by, we can add it. And then we can also go inside the investment attributes. Let's add the alignment and the improved by inside here. Go refresh this for the group by. So if we go back to the plans, and say, for example, let's go to business technology because that's where all the data was actually imported to. If you come to investments, you'll see the business alignment and the proof flag, and this should have all the baseline fields. So So the key item is that since syncing could be, an expensive operation, you can control only to bring over the attributes that you need for your syncing to optimize it as you're doing and updating your plans. Now, one thing to note with the plan and the syncing, you can only do it at the top level plan. So right here, I'm in business technology. You're not able to sync at the individual plan level. You need to be at the topmost level plan. You go to all groups, and that's when you're able to sync. And that concludes my demonstration of the new plan enhancements for 16.1.3. So this concludes our presentation and demonstration. Thank you very much.